Yeah, I'm on my weird way. Get it like Toby. You on my way, don't get cozy. Give me my trophy. Yeah, I had to pray. I had to kill off the old me. Yeah, had to focus a lot. I'ma shoot my shot, Kobe. Yeah, I'm on my weird way. Get it like Toby. You on my way, don't get cozy. Give me my trophies. Yeah, I had to pray. I had to kill off the old me. Yeah, had to focus a lot. I'ma shoot my shot, Kobe. Yeah, killing my verses, living my purpose. Yeah, healing my burdens, giving my service. Yeah, I had to pray, I had to kill off the old me. Yeah, had to focus a lot, I'ma shoot my shot, Kobe.
Yo, what's up, and welcome to another episode of Unnamed Sports Show right here on Gorilla Cross Radio, streaming live on GorillaCross.com, the Gorilla Cross app, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We are everywhere, so please make sure you follow us on all social media at Gorilla Cross. I'm your host, Quan59, and I got my man back in the building just in time, Josh Williams. What's good?
Man, I needed a nap today.
Nap time?
Yeah.
Just in nap time.
Yeah, I got back to the house and needed a nap after lunch, so
all right.
I'm pulling myself.
For lunch? I still owe you lunch, by the way. I was actually driving by Gianna's the other day, and I realized, I have not paid that bet. I don't even know what that was for.
I don't even remember the bet.
I feel like it was hockey last year or something.
That feels right.
I can't remember, but
that feels right. I think we bet on the Golden Knights.
It was definitely 2001.
21.
Yeah, 2021. Not that long ago. I've known you that long.
But yeah, no, I got a little nap in. I had El Segundo over at the mall at Fashion Show Mall. So yeah.
You love the strip though, huh?
Oh yeah, no, all the time. Me and girl were
That's
just
crazy.
walking around. Yeah, it's normal pricing.
All right.
You just got to know where to go.
No, I know. Just parking and all that. Even though parking is free on the strip, which I didn't realize that till a couple months ago, that if you're local, you just swipe that mug.
Free-ish.
No, everywhere I go.
Yeah, well, as long as you don't stay long enough. You stay too long, it becomes paid again.
I never stay that long.
Once you stay
3 or
after
4 hours.
3 hours, it's paid again.
Yeah.
But
just swipe that local ID.
That's true.
Yep.
But very, very excited about today.
Yeah, we got a very special guest live on the line with us, and we're going to actually jump right into it because, we've had some cool players on, what I'm saying? We haven't had many two-time NBA champions. I'm not sure if we've had a two-time. Well, no, we haven't had a two-time.
No, Rick
Barry was a one-time.
One-time champ.
Gilbert was a no-time.
That's right.
Your brother?
No, Jerome never made it. Xavier McDaniel never made it.
No time. But this is a teammate, right?
Huh?
This is a teammate of his, right?
I'm not sure.
We'll talk to him about that
at
Wichita State. I believe they might have been.
I think they either crossed paths or Xavier was right after him. I think Xavier was right after him.
Yeah.
So we'll ask him about that.
And so we'll talk to him a little bit about, the NCAA tournament happening.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about what me and you were talking about off air. Like, we don't know who any of these players are, so it's hard to keep up as much as we used to.
100%.
And we know more names in the women's game than we do in the men's game right now, which is crazy to me.
I could bet women's and be pretty confident with my picks.
Yeah.
Men's got no idea.
A little bit different.
No idea. I'm picking colors like a lot of ladies do.
Oh gosh.
They wear blue. Yeah, I like that team. That's a good color. It's a good color.
And we will be talking about a little NFL free agency later on in the show after the interview. And other things happening in sports, but we're going to jump right into it right now. Two-time NBA champion. I was introduced to him in the, mid-'80s when I really jumped into basketball. He was playing for the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah.
And then he went to the Chicago Bulls, and I didn't like him because they ended Magic.
That was the end of Magic.
End Magic. I thought after game 1 it was over. I'm like, man, this is,
Michael's not ready.
Number 6, Michael's too young. He'll get his. They're not ready yet. You had Sam Perkins hitting that 3, to win the game. But we have two-time NBA champion from the Chicago Bulls. Played in the Atlanta Hawks. I think Detroit also.
Drafted
by Detroit. We have Cliff Levingston live on the line. Cliff, how are you doing today? Make sure you unmute that mic.
Oh, you got to unmute.
I always make people mute their mic.
Yeah. My mic was muted, but now I'm back ready.
There it is.
I appreciate you guys. Josh, man, it's been a long time coming. We've been talking about this for a long time. And, I told you when I get a minute, hey, I got you covered. We're 100%.
I appreciate you, brother. I think the last time we talked about it was when I was in Chicago when we were out there for
Yes.
the Big Three, and
The Big Three.
yeah, you're one of my legends, man, and you know, this is definitely, like you said, been a long time, and I can just speak as a Bulls fan, or as Quan likes to say, I was a '90s Bulls fan, because I cheered for all of Michael, and you know, knew everyone, and for all of us out there that have imitated your "What time is it" line, you know, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to talk to you.
Well, you know, it's a pleasure. Like I said, I'm happy to be on your show. First of all, you know, I mean, I've heard about your show. A former teammate of mine talked to me about your show, so it's been something that I'm looking forward to being part of and coming on to speak.
Now, just talking about former teammates, did you play with Xavier? I can't remember. We talked to him. This was back during the summer for us. So I can't remember if he came right after you, or if you guys overlapped at all at Wichita State.
We overlapped. Xavier's freshman year was my junior year.
Oh, okay.
So we got a chance to play with each other. And, you know, all I remember, you know, coming up, we used to take turns beating up on Xavier.
Okay.
You know, myself, Antoine Carr, Ozell Jones, we just take turns beating up on him. And it was one of those things that he was a young pup full of piss and vinegar, and he was challenging everybody. You know, he liked to challenge you. And, you know, he challenged me one week, and then next week challenges Antoine Carr. Next week he challenged Ozell Jones. Then he come back down the line again. It was a revolving thing. But, you know, X was one of those guys who was high energy, high strung, and I really enjoyed playing and, you know, getting to know him very well. So, you know, when he came in as a recruit, I took him on his visit.
Okay. And,
you know, I turned him out, you know, so he had to make sure he come to Wichita State, because at that time we were a really dynamic forwards, myself and Antoine Carr.
Yeah.
And that third piece was going to get us to the Final Four. And, you know, it just happened. It didn't work out that way. I left after my junior year. You know, I thought I was going to get a chance to play 2 years with him, you know. Sure. But I only played 1 year with X. But, hey, like I said, great guy. And matter of fact, we just talked the other day. Last week we talked.
Okay.
And we stay in touch all the time.
That's good.
That's so cool.
And it was good having him on the show too, man. He gave a lot of insight, talked about Wichita a lot. Being an upperclassman, how was it having him come in as a freshman? Did you guys bully him around, or, you know, because that's a bully team right there. That's a lot of bullies on one team.
It's a lot of NBA beef on one team.
Well, we did bully him. I mean, and I think that prepared him for going to the league, you know, and then especially going to the West Coast, where he became an enforcer. And I remember looking at him like, when we got a league, I was like, Xavier, an enforcer? Y'all scared of Xavier? Come on, now. We used to beat him up every day. You know, push him around, bully him. But now he's the bully. Yeah. But like I said, he earned every accolade he got. Because I'm telling you something, when we brought him in, he was going to be coming in and taking myself or Antoine's place at Wichita State. And at that time, we were building a dynasty, and he was a key piece of that, building that dynasty. And like I said, he ended up surpassing myself and surpassing Antoine Carr, all-time leading scorer and rebounding. Yeah. I mean, he was a beast.
Now, do you love what they've been doing, kind of reintroducing that program? Because see, when Xavier came on, I didn't even know that that's where you guys went. I didn't know that's where Antoine went, and trust me, prior to 2000, I didn't even know about the program. So to hear that so many NBA players came from there in the 80s, are you excited to see that the program has kind of come back and is getting a lot more pub and being a mid-major?
Well, you know, I was excited about the program, and you know, they changed the coach. The coach was the key part to them being resurgent back into the mentioning of great schools. You know, he's moved on since then, but I hate that he moved on, because he was a key piece to bringing Wichita State back into prominence in the tournaments. Yeah, because the whole time he was there, I think he was 6 of the 7 years he was there, he was in the tournament. And that's saying a lot for a mid-major. And plus, you know, he was the only coach that took them to a Final Four. You know, when I played, we went to the Elite Eight, and he took it another step further.
Yeah.
And brought, you know, Van Fleet and Fred oh my gosh, Shaq Morris. He got all them notoriety.
Yeah.
And brought the program back to prominence.
Yep. And, you know, so can you talk about just, you know, before we get into your NBA career a little bit, can you talk about the state of college? Because as Quan was mentioning before, you know, with the nature of one and dones, but now with NIL, do you think the NIL will help possibly keep some kids in school, and so we can actually start to learn their names, because the kids are so revolving, you know, now?
Well, you know what? It's now ever changing format now and landscape, because with the one and dones and also the portal, that puts a lot of the control into the young athletes' hands now.
Mm-hmm.
They control, if they don't like a situation, they can go play somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, that changes now because it's harder to learn who's playing where. Especially they can go transfer and play right away.
Yeah.
College basketball has changed a lot, and I don't think it's going to go back to where it was, and where you fall in love with players who've been there for 3-4 years.
Yeah.
You know, now it's, you know, you got to grab hold of a little piece of a guy before he tries to go to greener pastures.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that some of these young guys are too young to be jumping into the NBA right away. I think they need to learn how to be away from their parents' confine and comfort, to learn how to be on their own and learn how to be young men.
Yeah.
That's what college was about, teaching guys how to be young men, but how to be responsible, how to own up to all your decisions. You know, in college, if you make a bad decision, you got to live with that decision, whether
you're
you
faced
want to be
with
there
it
for 1 year or 4 years.
Yeah.
Now, well, I don't like this, I'm gonna go to somewhere else. I don't like this, I'm gonna go somewhere else. I'm gonna go somewhere else. So now there's no accountability for them making decisions and sticking with their decisions. You know, once you get to the pros, you know, then you can decide your fate of your future, but you got to learn how to control your fate of your future.
Yeah. Now you were drafted by Detroit.
Yes.
And so I kind of wanted to frame a question around kind of the start of your career, because your career, you kind of kept going places that were right before they were great. You know, you were with the Pistons right before they became the bad boys. Then you went to Atlanta, and that was when Atlanta was trying to figure it out. They had Dominique, but they couldn't get over the hump. And then you went to Chicago, and it was a similar situation. They were a great team, but they were still trying to figure it out. Can you talk about, you know, being with the Pistons, being with a young Isaiah Thomas?
Well, you know what? My whole career, I've always started something. Wichita State was trying to get on the map. And Antoine Carr and myself, we came to Wichita, and we put Wichita State on the map again. I go to Detroit Pistons. We were a young team with Isaiah. And, you know, Isaiah is probably one of the best point guards I've played with. And trying to figure out, they were trying to figure out how they were going to get to the next level. And with myself, they drafted myself and 1 year. Then the next year they drafted Antoine Carr.
Okay.
They never signed Antoine Carr. And then they were looking, well, we need to get more veterans, older guys to get over the hump. So they traded myself and Antoine Carr's rights to Atlanta Hawks. Well, Atlanta Hawks is a young team that's up and coming. And then, you know, we were in Atlanta, and we started making some headway. We started doing some things, and people started taking notice.
Yeah.
And we played Boston in a game 7.
Classic.
Back and forth.
Yep.
And Dominique Wilkins was I mean, prolific. I mean, him and Larry Bird in the 80s made that Western Conference so dominant and so much people wanted to watch, and because it was entertaining. And we were just on the cusp of that. And then management looked at it and said, well, we need to get a little bit older, more experience. So we brought in Reggie Theus, and Moses Malone.
Yep.
And then you had Dominique Wilkins and Doc Rivers. So we had a pretty veteran team.
That's a good team.
Having the best players on a team does not necessarily mean you're going to win a championship.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, it's about chemistry. That 87 Hawks with myself, Dominique Wilkins, Doc Rivers, Randy Whitman,
Spud Webb,
Antoine Carr, Kevin Willis, Spud Webb. We had a phenomenal team, and that was basically my favorite pro team to play for, period, because we did a lot of things together.
Okay.
Well, they wanted to change that and bring some better leadership in, which was great with Moses and Reggie Theus. Those are great pieces, and Mike McGee, but the chemistry wasn't the same. It was too much competition on and off the basketball court. And I think that's what people who do the analytics and all that stuff, look at all the numbers and this and that, they don't take into consideration is the chemistry of making of a team.
That's right.
When you have the right chemistry of a team,
that's
what makes the teams champions.
Yep.
And I think, like I said, it was just too much competition on and off the floor. Who's going to get the ball at the last minute?
Yeah.
Who had the nicest house, the nicest cars? Who had the most women? It was just a competition all the time.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun, but it was just a lot of competition, which didn't gel too well.
That's what a lot of people don't realize when they're just watching
100%.
the game and seeing teams like, man, they just can't play together. They don't know, like, you guys are together like almost a full year, playing, traveling together. So if you guys aren't getting along behind the scenes, it's going to reflect on the court. And I think we see that with teams right now. Like the Lakers have talent, but there's no other thing going on there. And, they're 10 games under 500 right now.
It does merit out on the court.
Like I said, and that's one thing that, even now as I coach, I always preach chemistry. You got to have the right chemistry. If you don't have the right chemistry, I don't care what players you have, it doesn't matter. If you got one guy wanting to shoot the ball all the time at the end of the quarter and at the end of the games, and he's not sharing the ball, it's not going to matter. One thing I can say about Michael Jordan, everybody said he was a ball hog. Everybody said he always took all the last shots. It was an unwritten rule with us. The first half, you guys get yours. Second half, it's my show.
Yeah.
And you guys step the hell away and just be in positions. If I need you, I want you to be there.
I got you.
And going when I got to Chicago, it was a different atmosphere because it was the first team and the second team. They didn't do things together.
Oh.
It was always, well, you don't really need to hang out with the first team because they have their own thing. And my thing is, I came from Atlanta and we all was one team. We all did everything together. First team, second team, we went out, we hung out, we ate lunch, we ate dinner, we partied together, we did everything together.
Yeah.
So when I got to Chicago, it was like, you can't really hang out with them or sit up there with them. I said, man, look here, are they on the team?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
your team, our teammates? Yeah. Why can't I hang out with them?
Yeah.
Well, they don't like the second team. I said, I don't care if they like the second team. We hanging. So I started hanging with Scotty a lot.
Okay.
Scotty and I were real close. We did a lot of things together. When I got to Chicago, everyone had roles, defined roles. And I think that was the difference between the Atlanta Hawk team. We all just played. We were just young and just having fun. When I got to Chicago, everyone had defined roles. My role was to beat Scotty up every day in practice, push on him, fight him, and just push him.
Yeah.
And some days we get ready to come to blows. But one thing we did respect was one another's job. When we left the basketball court, we left that on the basketball court. We hung out and had fun together. We did things together. And I think that was the difference of pushing that Chicago Bulls team over the edge. And then the second unit, we started to gel. I remember one time we went into the office, Tex Winters took us all into the office.
At the Birdo
He said,
Center.
I want you guys to watch how to run the triangle.
Okay.
Because we were god awful, train wreck. We get parts of it right, and then other parts we just murder it. It was brutal. So he would take us into the office, and he had that old projector,
Yeah.
black and white film.
Okay.
And we watched the breakdowns of the triangle. We watched the breakdowns of it. This is the part, this part, this is this part. And then this is the middle of it. And then 2 pieces together, then 3 pieces together of the triangle. And then you watch it in a game. And at that moment, that's when everything started clicking for that second team. We started understanding how to play the triangle, how to get guys in position to be successful. And then we started competing with the first team, with Michael and Scotty and Horace and Bill and Paxton. We started challenging. And then practice became really our games for the second unit. We knew in practice, every day we got to bring it, because we started having, we call bragging rights for practice. If whoever wins can talk much trash to the other team, and they had to listen to it. So every now and then we get the clicking, and we beat them.
Yeah.
Oh, we talk so much trash. That was like our highlight. We just loved just one time out of maybe 2 weeks of just beating them one time, so we have something to hang our hats on.
Yeah.
But we knew as soon as we finished that trash talking, oh, they coming at us, all barrels open, and they came at us. But that right there started solidifying the team as a unit.
Okay.
And we started playing well together. And that's when we got that little run right in December, right before January. We started getting that gelling. We started clicking, and from that point on, it wasn't the games that we didn't think we were going to win. It was just games how much we were going to win by. That's all it was. Practice was that competitive. When games became
easy,
a formality.
Yeah.
But practice was the wars.
Interesting.
I want to go back a little bit to your career with Atlanta, because there was a dunk contest in Chicago while you were in Atlanta, and a lot of people think Dominique won that dunk contest against Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan was actually in Chicago.
Dominique thinks he won
hometown.
too. He still talks to me about that.
And I mean, a lot when you really watch the whole thing, not just the highlights, you're kind of like, yeah, Dominique kind of got took on that. What do you think? And what was that talk like after that dunk contest in the locker room?
Let me just say this. Dominique got robbed 2 years in a row. Not one, but 2 years in a row. He got robbed in Chicago. He beat Michael, hands down. But them judges wouldn't have made it out of Chicago Stadium. Michael wouldn't have won that dunk contest.
They gave Jordan a 50.
Honestly, Dominique to me was the best dunker, showman dunker in the league at that time.
By far, yeah.
And I would say second was Sean Kemp.
Yeah.
But
Sean came in the next year.
The year before that, Spud Webb
in Dallas.
In Dallas.
His hometown.
So 2 home cookings
that's true.
He got robbed on, that he should have won the contest. He should have like a 3 or 4 time
dunk contest,
dunk champion back to back.
Yeah,
without a doubt. But he got robbed on a couple of them. And I Michael knows it. I know it. Spud knows it. But hey.
Will Michael ever
help propel Michael and help propel Spud?
Will Michael ever admit that though?
No.
Michael don't come on. Michael admitted. Are you really? Let me tell you something. The Last Dance was the first time I've ever seen Michael be vulnerable in anything. In The Last Dance, he made himself vulnerable for criticism and showing that he is human. That was the only time I've ever seen Michael really show that side of him. I swear I thought he was a fictional character, because he would do some incredible things, and in practice, it'd be things that he'd do in practice. He'd be like, how in the world did it happen? He must have been here before. He knows what's going to happen before it happens. So, like I said, for him to admit that he got robbed, not happening.
Yeah.
Well, Dom, I will say this. Dominique would always say that Michael did the same dunk twice, meaning he jumped from the foul line, even though the second one he put it behind his head and sailed in there.
And it wasn't really the foul line either.
Cliff, I'm gonna cut. We're gonna cut that face you made. That was great.
It's the same dunk. If Dominic would have took his right foot and did this on one of his, would it be a different dunk? It's the same
It's the same
dunk.
dunk,
Come
too.
on now.
That's all I can say.
I give you a little bit for trying. That was a reach, but you reached for that one. But I'll let you reach for that one. I'll let you have that one.
But the first one, Josh, if you remember, the first one was actually closer to the free throw line than the one we always see in the highlights.
That's right.
The one
he
won on wasn't even close to free throw line. They just kept saying free throw line.
But he put it behind his head.
He put it behind his head,
though.
Put it behind his head, man.
Instead of this, he did this.
He pulled it back and sailed in there.
Made for a good poster.
But I do want to ask you too, though, Cliff, about The Last Dance. What was your take on that? You know, we've kind of seen some of the guys come out and criticize certain things, like other things. Did you like it? You know, because that was your life. You lived those moments. You know what I mean? So how did you feel about it?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty well documented and I would say 96% accurate.
Okay.
It's just a few things that I wish that Michael would left alone.
Okay.
But that's just my opinion, and everyone has opinions. Like everything else is like a butthole. It stinks. But my opinion is when he spoke on Scotty not going into the game, he wasn't there for that.
Yeah.
So to criticize someone about something you're talking about, the parts where you were there,
sure.
He wasn't there on that.
Yeah.
Okay. That where I thought he should have left that alone.
Or let someone else speak on it.
Let someone else speak on it
sure.
because he wasn't there. You
sure.
know the whole content of what really transpired.
Yeah.
When you're leading that team, had an all-star year, phenomenal year, and for you not to take that last shot, that's like Michael having an all-star year, and he say, Michael, Cliff, you coming in, taking that shot. Whether I hit the shot or not, it's the principle of it.
Yeah.
The principle of it is Scotty carried that team all year long, okay? Let him go out the way he wants to go out, not the way you want to write the script because you want Tony Kukoc to be the man at the time.
Yeah.
So I thought that was, I think they should have let Scotty have that, but that's not me, my judgment or nothing, but it happened. So to speak on it, it's really not his say to speak on that.
Yeah.
Then the issue where he said that Horace Grant was leaking everything to the media.
Yeah.
That was not true. That was Phil Jackson leaked all that stuff.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Phil was the one talking to
to Sam Smith.
Sam Smith.
Yeah.
It wasn't Horace. So that put a bad light on Horace. That right there. And
Horace had to go out and talk about that a lot afterwards. Yeah.
It was not Horace. So
wow.
So that those things right there, I think he should have left alone. But like I said, the documentary left him vulnerable for a lot of criticism from the way he talked to players, the way he challenged players, the way he sometimes degraded players.
Mm-hmm.
But I respected that because bottom line, if I'm going into battle, I want guys battle tested. I'm going to come at you. If you don't come back at me and give me some kind of resistance, knowing that you got fight in you, how can I depend on you when the time gets tough and like a Detroit series, a New York battle? You got to have somebody there on your side. And that's one thing I liked about Michael is he didn't candy coat it. He put it straight in your face. If you had a problem with it, that's for you to deal with, because he didn't care because he wants guys who wants to win.
Yeah.
He wants guys who understand what it takes to be a winner. And I'm like this, you can go to any business there is. I don't care what it is. The head person has stepped on necks, stepped on shoulders, and even pissed on people because he knows what his vision is and what he's trying to get done.
Yep.
And if you can't line up with that, you need to either step off or get pissed on.
Yeah.
That's how it is. And people look at that as he's a bully. He's one of those guys who degraded players. If you go to the business, they degrade you in business.
Yep.
In the business life, the most successful people. You look at the Mark Zuckerberg story. How many guys have he pissed off becoming the number one giant?
Yeah.
You have to piss people off for people to understand your vision and get on the same page as you. So, like I said, Michael was great at that. But a lot of things people don't know is Michael was a teacher. He taught the game to a lot of guys. He was one of those guys who was unselfish about his craft, his skill, because he wanted everyone around him to be good and be great. Because the better you guys are, the easier his job becomes. He would tell guys, I want you in certain positions because if I need you, I need to know where you are. He teaches guys how to understand the defense is nothing but angles.
That's right.
If you can understand angles, you can play and stay in front of anybody.
Yep.
All I need you to do is stay in front of guys and keep guys in front of you on defensive end so we can capitalize. Offensive end, angles. If you cut guys off on setting certain routes and everything, it makes it easier for me to follow off your trail to get to the basket.
That's right.
I mean, it was, even with him and Scotty, if you ever noticed their tandem defense, when they switch, they bait you and switch you and force you into a turnover every time. It was an angle. They always took an angle going right. They would right around the hash and half court. They would jump you, and Michael would drop down, drop back, and then ready for that steal.
That's right.
Because you're going to turn the ball over. It was an angle. And that's one thing he taught guys around him, how to be better teammates, how to be better players, but more important, how to be better people. People say Michael was selfish. Michael probably was one of the most unselfish guys I played with. I remember during the playoffs, right before the playoffs, it was a McDonald's commercial. And Michael said, no, I'm not going to do the commercial. I want my second unit guys to do the commercial. So it was me, BJ, Stacey King, and Stacey King, myself, and Craig Hodges.
Okay.
It was us four. We got paid to do a McDonald's commercial because of Michael Jordan.
That's cool.
And you tell me, and we got paid good money,
really
good money to do that. And you tell me what guy is going to give up a TV commercial
for nothing
for someone else
to
shine.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to give our second unit some money in our pocket
cool.
show his appreciation for us. You can't expect that. That's unselfishness.
Yeah.
And like you said, you can say as much as you want about how selfish he is.
Yeah.
How, Michael doesn't do things in community. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. It's a lot of things that Michael did that he did not want to be publicized.
That's right.
He did a whole lot in the Chicago community and also in Carolina that he didn't really want to be known. He just did it because it was the right thing to do.
But I get mad when people even talk about that because, first of all, that's his money, so don't tell another man what to do with their own money. And just because he's not like everybody else publicizing everything, we see a lot of players, every single thing they do, they're posting up to be seen. Do things without people knowing. Like, who cares what the world thinks? Let me do something in private, and people aren't allowed to do anything in private anymore. You have to put everything on social media.
And that's a true gift of a man. It's what you do behind closed doors
100%.
to really give you a true character who that person is. If he's looking for accolades and stardom and fame, and he's doing it for that, he's not doing it for the love.
That's right.
Of what he's supposed to do or what's right in society. And I tell that to my guys all the time. I do what I do, because I love what I do. When I do things, I do a lot of things in the background because I'm not really that kind of guy who want to be out there in front of the camera. Mm-hmm. I'd rather do what I'm supposed to do to help elevate other people. And that's what it's about, elevating other people.
Yeah. Now, you talked briefly about defensive angles and different things. One game that you were involved in.
Oh, don't even go. No, I know you're going there, Josh, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Some bad angles were taken from every member of the Atlanta Hawk team. And the camera angle of you is usually seen with you going crazy on the bench. And you already know the game I'm talking about where Larry Bird dropped 60 on you guys. Did you get fined? Because that's always like, oh, members of the team were fined, and and all this kind of stuff. Can you just talk briefly about that story and kind of give us a little bit behind the scenes on that?
Well, that game was played in New Orleans.
Yes.
At Arena. And how that game got there is Ted Turner sold 12 games to a good friend of his. And he sold him $100,000, $1.2 million. So 12 games for $1.2 million. And to set it all up was McHale had scored 58 points in the game.
That's right.
And Bird said, whatever the next game, I'm gonna beat that. I'm gonna beat that score. And it happened to be against Atlanta Hawks in New Orleans. Well, the game is going on. Bird is on fire. I mean, literally on freaking fire. First half, everybody got some of that. Everybody got some points that first half. I guarded him. I got points. Dominique, Antoine Carr, Tree got some of that. Kevin Willis, everybody got some of them points. So now, no, Kevin Willis wasn't there yet. But everybody got some of them points. Now, second half, everybody think he's gonna cool off. He was still on fire. It was a play. Antoine Carr was guarding him.
Okay.
He got loose from Antoine. Antoine fouled him.
He said trainer's lap, right? That was the trainer's lap.
Knocked him into our trainer's lap.
That's right.
I got up off the bench, waving a towel, running down, giving high fives, because I'm telling you something. It was a clinic. It was an absolute clinic. It was unbelievable. All I can say was, man, this dude is tortured. He is on fire. Now we could do to stop him. He catch the ball. He looking at you, catch the ball like this, and throw it up over his shoulder and for back. It was unbelievable. So we the game over. We lost the game. We go to play the Pacers the next game. So Mike Fratello told me, Ricky Brown, Sly Williams, Eddie Johnson. It was one more game. Put your back when you get settled. Come up to my room. I want to talk with you guys. Okay, all right. We get up there. He got the game on, and Larry was still. I'm elbowing. Man, look at this dude. We still. Mike Fratello stopped the film. This guy is kicking our tail. Look at you guys on the bench. You guys high-fiving each other. It's going to cost each one of y'all $100. I left that room. I said, man.
Best $100 I ever spent.
This is the best $100 seat I ever had in my life. Hey, you see me on the bench, I'm falling out. But the beauty of it is we didn't know the camera angle was shooting across at our bench.
Right on the bench. Right
Trainer's
where
lap.
Look at
it.
Look at Cliff. He fell off the bench.
I'm still giddy about that game. It was, when I say it was, you could do nothing to stop Larry that day. That day he was on a mission, and he proved that mission. Like I said, that was the best $100 NBA seat I ever had in my life, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that game.
And you've been around some great games. Obviously, the championships, which we're going to get into in a minute. But you mentioned the Game 7, the Hawks and the Celtics, where Larry and Dominique, if you guys haven't watched that, find that game on YouTube or whatever, because that's one of the most classic games in the NBA that's really not talked about enough.
Yeah.
But I remember watching that game, and it's going back and forth the whole time, and crazy game. What was it like being involved in that game as well?
Well, it was crazy because we were up 3-1 on Boston. We were 3-1. And for them, to come back to make it 2 games in Boston, they came back and closed it to 3-3. 3-2. And then the final, we played in Atlanta for Game 6, and it came down to the end. And I remember the play was drawn up for Dominic Wilkins to get the ball, and he couldn't get loose. They double teamed. They threw the ball to me, and I remember it was like 4 seconds. I got the ball, drove to the basket, went up with my left hand. Parrish and McHale came to block the shot. I got it off, it went off the rim and rolled out, and we lost. So that set up Game 7 in Boston, where the phenomenal. I mean, it was a phenomenal game. Dominique and Bird just literally. Nobody else was on the court but them two.
Yeah.
They just went basket for basket, back and forth,
I can't remember how many points they both had. Like I feel like both of them had.
I think
50
Dominique
or
had
40
something, and
yeah.
Bird had 50.
That's what I thought.
It was a phenomenal game. All I know is, trying to stop Bird when Bird had in his mind what he's going to do is unfreaking real. I mean, I've only played with 3 players that can determine and dictate the outcome of a game.
Yeah.
And the 3 in this order are Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, and Magic Johnson. And those are my top 3 all time as well that I've played against or played with.
Yeah,
that's the list.
And in that order. And because
it's a good
Bird,
list.
and the reason why I say Bird over Magic, and a lot of people would disagree with me, especially Laker Nation. They will.
That's Quan. Quan's a Laker fan.
You're in Laker Nation right
now.
now.
About this. Bird didn't have the ball. Bird never had the ball. Bird created scenarios without the ball.
Yeah.
Magic had the ball. Michael had the ball. So for Bird to not have the ball and make things happen, I mean, Bird would tell you he's going to shoot the ball off the glass on the right side, no matter what. And you like, the hell if he is. I remember Gardner, he told me this himself. Him telling me, just like I'm talking to you, he's telling me, I'm going to shoot the ball right here off the glass. The hell if you are. I played him like he owed me $2 on the playground. I was everywhere. He went down, set a down screen, went set a cross screen, then he went set a back pick. And, it's like, okay, next thing you know, I got a back pick. I'm like, oh, I get over the back pick. I'm running. As soon as I get to him, he's got the ball. He says, too late.
Too late. Too late.
Too late. And it's like, how do you know you're going to get that ball back on this spot?
Yeah.
Because these guys understood how to get to their spots, and guys knew to get them the ball in their spots. I mean, those guys, those are the elite of the elites. It's only 3 of those I've played with or played against my time in the NBA. And that would dictate and tell you exactly what's going to happen. Michael would do it in practice every time. Michael would tell you, we scrimmage it. The ball's going to go into Stacey King. I'm going to steal it, go down and dunk it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm watching. I'm like, yeah, okay, we scrimmage it. I look at him, he's like, they're coming out of timeout, ball going around. I'm like this, well, what's going to happen? After I did that, the ball went into Stacey King, and it's like everything started moving in slow motion from that point on. I'm like, no, Stacey. Stacey would spin middle, back to the baseline. Mike steals it and goes down and dunk it. I'm like,
how did this happen?
This black cat has been on this planet before. He's done this several times before. And like I said, those are guys who will themselves for plays to happen for them. Yeah. And that's one thing I teach guys is, if you put yourself in position to make things happen, they will happen. But you got to manifest that. Always being thinking of what you want to do and how you want to get it done. And it will happen for you.
Now, all right. Now, what time is it come from? Because when we go back and we look at, the Last Dance in the 80s and the early, right before you got there, they just huddled and they just, all right, break. They go out on the floor. Where did that come from? Because that was synonymous with the Bulls and those teams. And trust me when I tell you, it was on
the intro to NBA on NBC. And so we saw it every Sunday afternoon.
Every huddle that I was a part of as a child, we all emulated your voice. So where did that come from?
Well, you know what? Honestly, it came from Kevin Willis. Myself and Kevin Willis.
Oh, wow. Okay.
When I was with the Hawks.
Okay.
I'll be in front of the bus. He in the back of the bus. And he would say, we get on the bus and say, word, because he called me word, and I call him word. What time is it? And we say, game time. Right before we go and leave, go to the arena. We'd always say that on the bus. So when I got to Chicago, I think it was like the 3rd game. I said, Mike, I want to do something. I want to, can I do this before the game? Before, we huddle, go out. He said, yeah, go ahead. I said, I'm going to say, what time is it? And I want everybody to say game time. Whew. So we did it.
Yeah.
We won the game. Mike said, okay, do it again. The next game, I did the next game. And I do it every game after that point on. But now, what people don't understand is I'm always by Michael. Michael's on one side of me and Scotty's on the other side. We all stayed in the same positions the whole time. We did it.
That's crazy.
Everybody's lying. And I would have
Wow.
It got to the point I was yelling so loud. Mike said, man, if you yell in my ear one more time. So I would always have to put my hand over his ear and yell when we go.
That is great.
That's how it all came about, because it was something that Kevin Willis and I started doing when I was in Atlanta. And then I took it with me to Chicago. A lot of things that we were in Atlanta, we were successful and having fun doing. Yeah. I took to Chicago with me, camaraderie with the second unit, being competitive with the first unit, us being together, doing things together as a whole. Those are things I think that's what Chicago is really missing. Yeah. That one little piece. They had everything in place. They just needed that one element to pull it all together. Yeah. And I think that's what I help with the Chicago Bulls, is pull that piece together.
Well, I want to play a video clip of your most famous assist ever.
Oh, I was literally about to talk about that. That was my next question.
Let's talk about this. This is, and I hated everything about it. I'm a diehard Laker fan at the time. I was in tears. The hand switch, he didn't have to do that.
It was unnecessary.
Well, you know what? To be honest, Sam Perkins was back there. He was long. Sam was blocking everything. And I remember I got the ball and I was getting ready to drive. And I seen Sam. So as soon as I seen Sam, next thing I knew, I seen Michael. I passed it to Michael, came around the baseline, and I just sat back and watched it. I mean, it was one of those unbelievable moments. It's like this. I mean,
here's it in real time.
How
nope, not going up there.
Groundbreaking and memorable moments in sports history that was going to be. Yeah. And when Michael went up, all I just saw was like this: I'm gonna get assists. Michael gonna dunk on somebody. That's all I was gonna do. Michael gonna dunk on somebody. And when he did that, it was like, oh my God, did he just do that? And like I said, Magic crazy. Was there and Perkins was there.
Yeah, AC Green right there.
I wanted my shot block.
Everybody was there. Yeah.
Everybody's in that shot. I gotta get AC on the show too.
Yeah, like I said, and like Michael was one of those guys who he appreciated good teammates around him, and like I said, he showed that all the time. And as much knock that he gets for being a ball hog, I praise him for allowing me to be part of the Chicago Bulls, because for me to be part of Chicago Bulls, he gave up some of his salary, deferred some of his salaries to fit me under the salary cap. Yeah. So, like I said, I praise him all the time because of his unselfishness.
Insider information.
There's a lot of things that people don't know about Michael. Michael don't go out and publicize it and want people publicizing it. But I think that people should know that probably one of the most unselfish guys there was.
And let's talk about the championship. Everyone said he couldn't do it. Is he ever going to get the ring? That was the talk at the time. And now looking back at it, he had 6. But at the time, even in 90, they weren't really supposed to beat Magic and the Lakers yet. Now they're in the finals. Finally, you guys are there. But this is probably going to be Magic's last one. So, just hang on, Mike. Watch Magic get his last one. Lakers go up 1-0 in the series. Didn't win another game. Talk about that and talk about how that felt and you being a part of, your first championship, his first championship, and just the beginning of the Bulls dynasty.
Well, when we finally got past Detroit, it was like, that was like our championship.
Yeah.
We were happy just to get past Detroit and go to the finals. We got to the finals. It was like, oh my God, we're in the finals. What do we do now? No one knew. It was so uncharted waters for all of us. And, I remember that morning, I got up, cooked breakfast, and after I ate, I threw up.
Oh, no.
I got to the arena, And when I got to the ring, it was an eerie feeling. I mean, I walked through the door and the hairs on the back of my neck started standing up on my arms. I threw up again.
Oh my God, you Bill Russell.
It was just one of those unbelievable times.
Is this game 1 or is this game 5?
We get to the game. We played the worst game we've played all year.
Okay.
Game one.
Game one.
I mean, we couldn't do nothing right. But it came down to we ended up going to overtime. And Perkins was phenomenal in that game.
He was killing it.
He did everything perfectly what he's supposed to do. They won that game. I remember going to the locker room and I said, don't worry about it, fellas. We played the worst game we could play. Okay, let's sweep them now. Michael came over and said, Cliff, you got to win the first game to sweep. I said, well, let's win the next 4 games. And then everybody's like, hey, all right, let's go. And we went on and won the next 4 games because we didn't know what it was like to be in the finals. But after we took our worst game and we lost in overtime, once again, it wasn't if we was going to win, it's how many games we're going to take to win this championship.
See, and that's hard for
it was a wrap.
That's hard for a young team because you do lose the first game at home. So a lot of teams would have been like, yo, we're here. How are we going to overcome this? Now we got to go to L.A., and this was 2-3-2 back then. Right. How are we going to go to L.A. and try to, win 2 games in L.A.? But to overcome that and to have that confidence, where did that come from?
It came from Michael. Michael instilled in us, look here, you guys just keep playing. I'm going to win us a championship. And no matter what it is, how we do it, you just make sure that you guys are with me and doing the things you need to do. And that's what we did. We did all the little things we need to do to put him in position to take us to the promised land.
I mean, because to your point, though, Quan, to think about the Orlando Magic. Same situation, brand new young guys. You know what I mean? They're playing a Rockets team where the guys aren't old, but they're definitely older.
Yeah.
And, you've got the upstart guy and Shaq and everything and get swept. You know what I mean? They had no business getting swept, but they got swept.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even close. And remember, the Rockets, I think, were like the 4 seed that year. They weren't even.
Yeah. Right.
They weren't.
Portland was the number 1 seed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, you know what I mean? So, like, there's something to be said about, being able to reset and for you to be like, well, we played like garbage and we went into overtime. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was as bad as we could possibly play, and they barely beat us.
Yep.
So they don't have a chance.
And when I say we played bad, I mean, we were so out of sync. And I don't think anyone had rhythm going to that game. And to go into overtime with them, with the Lakers, the mighty Lakers, and you still have a chance to win it even in overtime. We right from that point on, we knew it was only a matter of time. We didn't fear the second game. We was winning the second game. Going into LA, we did not think we were coming back without the championship. We didn't. We had some issues with slowing down James Worthy. And I remember Phil said, Cliff, I need you to play the D on Worthy. That was an opportunity for me of a lifetime. And most guys sitting on the bench don't realize when your number is called, you got to be ready to produce. And I was studying James. I watched his moves. I watched his telltale signs when he's ready to go into his shot. I was more than ready for that game because, first of all, Phil said I didn't play well against West Coast teams. I played better with the East Coast teams. Okay. So it was a personal challenge. So for him to come to me and say, I'm going to see what you can do playing defense against Worthy. Man, and that's what I did. I just focused on containing him and slowing him down. I did that. By me doing it also, I was energized on the offensive end, and I gave the team a big lift to for that game game 4, game 3. So game 4. I was so into it and up for the challenge. And I'm always preaching to guys, when you're sitting on that bench, stay engaged, because when your time comes to be on the floor, you got to be in the flow. You got to know how to get into the flow of the game and do when a guy comes out, you got to do what he was missing. And if you're watching on the bench, you know exactly what's missing when you get in the game.
That's right. That's right. And just, I guess we can flash forward a little bit, because I know we're running a little bit short on time. Talk about
I don't know why that always happens. I guess I get to run in my mouth too much. I don't know.
It's okay.
Hey, it's good
all right.
stuff, man.
It's all great stuff.
As long as it's meat and not some water you're throwing at us, we're good.
No, we want to talk a little bit about your coaching career now. You've been coaching now, I believe it's since 2001, started in the G League and the D League at that point. And now you're coaching in the TBL. And just talk about kind of what made you transition over into coaching and what you like about that aspect of the game.
Well, I first started off in the CBA, back in the CBA before the G League was even involved back in 2000. Coach asked me to come and work with his big guys and work and be an assistant coach. So I didn't really want to get into coaching. I really wasn't into the X and the O's and all that stuff, but he said, I'll teach you all that stuff. So I started, his name is Ken Davidson, started me off coaching gave me my opportunity in coaching. And since then, I've coached minor leagues. I've coached ABA, CBA, AAPBL. I mean, every acronym you can think of, I've coached in. I've coached the Olympic team over in Qatar. So I've been around coaching basketball in the minor leagues for a little while. I just landed this job here in Kokomo, Indiana. It's our second year. Last year was the first year of this team, and we ended up fourth in the league as far as record-wise. We ended up the best organization in the league. We got team of the year, and we were the number one defensive team in the league. This year, we started off a little slow, but I like it because it gives me a chance to match wits with the other guy on the other end of the floor. Mm-hmm. It keeps me engaged in basketball. But more importantly, what I like about coaching is I get to spread some of the knowledge and the wealth of knowledge I've learned along the way with great players. I played with 7 Hall of Famers. Wow. So not too many people can say they played with 7 Hall of Famers. And the knowledge I've learned from each one of those guys, I played with 2 Hall of Fame coaches.
Yeah.
So, it's played under 2 Hall of Fame coaches, Phil Jackson and Chuck Daly.
That's right.
So the things I've learned, I enjoy sharing the knowledge and the wealth of this game to these young guys. I say to this day, these young guys, I think, are more talented than we were back in the day.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes. They're more talented than we are. They're more athletic.
What are they missing? What are they missing, Cliff?
They don't understand the game. They play the game, but don't understand the game. They don't understand the nuances of a hard cut.
Yep.
It opens up the guy behind you. Why do you jab? You try to get the guy off balance to go past him, not to make him fall,
fade
to get
away.
a highlight.
Yeah.
It's about getting to the basket.
Yeah.
You can have all the highlights of guys falling and stumbling, but if you ain't making the basket, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
So these guys play the game, but they don't understand the game. They don't understand. If you ask a young guy, what does clock, score, and possession mean? They wouldn't have a clue. The clock is how much time is on the clock.
Yep.
The score, and possession. How many times have you went down the court
That's right.
and not scored? Or what plays have you scored the most on? Those are things guys don't understand.
How many possessions you're going to get just by defensive adjustments and making them rush shots. You're getting more opportunities offensively. All of those things. Bad shots are really my thing. That's like people talk about analytics, but it's like that is a horrible shot in this moment in the game. This moment in the game where they started grabbing momentum.
That's the possession. That's the
1,000%.
possession of the game. The time of the game. If you don't know you got 6 seconds on the shot clock, and you shooting a rush shot, that's fine. But you got 19 seconds on the shot clock, and you come down and jack a shot up, and the game was within 2 and it's in the second quarter. Well, I had a kid tell me, well, I shot this shot in the first half. It wasn't a bad thing. Yes, it's the timing of the game.
That's right.
Understand. In the first half, that's okay. Second half, possessions become more valuable.
That's right.
So that's one thing about the game that I think these young guys are missing is understanding the game. And once they start understanding the game, they'll take it to a whole nother level. But right now, they don't think the game. They just play the game.
And I think back in the day, people were watching NBA games, which was fundamentally sound.
Yeah.
Now people are watching
God.
YouTube highlights. Yeah. And even the game now isn't fundamentally sound. So they're jacking up 3-point shots in the layup line from half court like Steph Curry does.
Yeah.
So does that hurt? And how does that affect you guys as coaches to be able to teach them the game? Because all they're saying is like, but I could do that.
Yeah. Or I want to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
I'm like this. You take 10 shots. I give you 10 threes. You probably hit 3 or maybe 4 threes. I take 10 2-point shots. I hit 8. Who has the most points at the end of the game?
You.
Right. It's just simple math.
Yeah.
And I tell these guys all the time, I'm a twos and fews, guys. Everyone is not going to shoot like Steph Curry. I don't care how much you think these guys are shooting the ball. Most of the time, the guys are shooting 34 to 40%.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're shooting, 34 to 40% from the 3. That's a Golden State. Mostly everybody else is in the 20s and low 30s.
Yeah.
So you look at basketball in a whole, and I tell my guys, we're going to take maybe 25, 33s a game. Other teams taking 40 and 53s. We're going to beat them. We're going to beat them most of the time because of the fact that we're going to get the rebound.
To fast
we're going to
breaks.
get out and get an easy basket.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have to come back and hit threes. Now, most teams have to hit threes to stay with you.
Yeah.
And you hitting twos and fews and you controlling the game.
That's it.
So analytics is a part of it, but understand the analytics. Don't be coaching by the analytics.
That's right.
And that's one of my most frustrating things to watch in the NBA now is you have a Golden State team that's hitting threes. You get a Phoenix team that gets hot and starts hitting threes. And then their opponent, we saw this in the Laker game against Phoenix the other day, they just start jacking up threes, and they're not a three-point shooting team. Instead of doing what they can do, LeBron and Russ can drive to the hole on anybody at any time, and they just don't do it. They step back. I've seen LeBron clear the court and step back and shoot a 3.
Yeah.
To me, that's, like I said, you're trying to compete with a team that does something well. Yeah. You're not going to compete with them. That's what they do. Like the bad boys. The bad boys back in the day was bruise you up. Most teams can't play with the bad boys, beating them up.
Yeah.
You're going to lose every time. Don't go to a team's weak strengths. Don't play their strengths. Play to your strengths.
That's right.
Do what you do best on the floor. And when you do what you do best on the floor, you give yourselves a chance to win.
That's it.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, before we get you out of here, Cliff.
A lot of knowledge being dropped there, Josh.
It's because it's Cliff. Before we get you out of here, who's your favorite guy that you like to watch in the league right now?
I have to be honest.
Okay.
And 100%, I don't watch a lot of NBA basketball. I think a lot of these guys play for the social media likes and stuff, opposed to love of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I watch just bits and pieces of it. So I really don't have a favorite guy that I like watching. And I got to be honest, I'd rather watch college or high school basketball.
Yeah.
Because they're playing for the love of the game.
Yeah.
That's it.
Opposed to the social likes. So that's just, I got to be honest with that.
Yeah.
I like it. That's about how I feel.
Honesty is good. No, it is. I mean, Josh has been talking about this for years, and I still fight him on it because I still love the NBA. I still love watching it, but it's definitely not the same. And this year, when your team's not good, you start realizing how bad the league really is. You start watching other games, and you're like, man, my Lakers aren't doing good. Let me watch some other games.
They're not good either.
And there's a few teams, like I could watch Memphis all day.
Yeah.
John Morant and the way all those young guys play together.
Now, I do like some of the young guys coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay Morant, And I'm gonna tell you, the Bulls, I've been watching a little bit more closely now.
Sure.
Because they finally got some pieces together to make it exciting to watch. You know, last year watching Zach LaVine, it was like this dude is just trying to pad his stats to get him that max contract.
Yeah.
And at the end of the game, you see he's getting his. He's selfish.
Yeah.
But watching them this year, I understood his mentality, what he was thinking. When they put Ball and they put DeRozan around him, now he does not have to work to carry that team so they don't get blown out every night.
That's right.
He's working within and playing off of players.
Sure.
And I respect his game a lot more now than I did last year and the year before. Because like I said, I always thought he was playing for his stats, but he was playing not to get blown out because he has a motor where he loves and hates to lose. So my hat's off to Zach.
Yeah.
All the bad things I said about you, I apologize. I'm apologizing in public. I understand you now. I get you because the organization finally put pieces around you to help you make your game a lot easier.
One last thing, your best Jerry Krause story. Go ahead. Give me a give me a Jerry Krause story.
Do I have to?
Give me a Krause story.
Well, I'm gonna just say this. Jerry Krause has gotten all of us. He's screwed a few of us, and I was one of them too. I mean, I left Atlanta Hawks. When I talked with the Bulls, I knew I was going to sign with the Bulls. And they told me, don't talk, I don't need to talk to nobody else. We're going to sign you. And they were going to sign me to a 4-year deal because I turned down a 4-year deal with the Atlanta Hawks.
Oh, okay.
A 4-year guaranteed deal. So Chicago said they're going to sign me to a 4-year deal. But when I get to the table, it's a 1-year deal. And they said, okay, we're going to sign you, but just wait. We got to get some other things in place. They were waiting for Atlanta to renounce my rights. I was talking to Clippers. They signed their player. Talking to New York. They signed their player.
So you got boxed in.
So now he came to me. I was the last one to sign.
Wow.
And he said, well, I got a 1-year deal for you. I said, you told me you had a 4. Well, we were going to do that, but some other things came into play. Then it came to, well, look here. You give me if I do what I'm doing this year, you give me the second year. Okay, so we'll give you a year with an option.
Okay.
I said, if I do well those 2 years, you give me the last 2. I don't want any more money. I just want the last 2 years that you promised. We can do that. But the last 2 was unofficial.
Okay.
It was just word of mouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other one was 1 year with an option.
Sure.
Well, after we won the second championship, I went to get Jerry. I said, look here, okay, all right, well, hey, let's finish this, this deal in the last 2 years. He said, well, we're going to change that. Wow. If you want to stay, you got to take a pay cut.
Wow. And so that's when you went overseas.
Like, let me go get my money in Greece.
Because they were trying to put money away for Tony Kukoc.
Oh, yeah.
And my salary slot was what he needed. He couldn't give me the last 2 years
that's true.
Because that would have taken up salary slot from Tony Kukoc. Well, Tony didn't sign.
That's right.
I went overseas, and they signed Rodney McCray at my salary slot.
Oh,
that's
exact
right.
same salary slot for 1 year.
That's not the same
No.
That's what I'm saying. It's a numbers game. And one thing about me is I tell guys, it's a business. I understand it's a business.
Yeah.
If I'm in a numbers game, tell me I'm in a numbers game. I can deal with that better than you telling me some else lie.
Yeah.
And that was my Jerry Krause story. Like I said,
okay.
I lost respect for him when he did that because I went on my word as okay, I'm not gonna talk to nobody else. I'm gonna sign with you.
Yeah.
So you put me in a trick bag and didn't do what you said you were gonna do.
Yeah, that's terrible.
So that's my Jerry Krause story.
And people get mad at players. We saw it today in Dallas with the Cowboys. They thought they had a verbal deal with Randy Gregory, and then he goes and signs with Denver. And then everyone gets mad, but they don't get mad when the teams do that to the players all the time.
Because it's not reported when this stuff right here, this doesn't come out.
Yeah.
This never sees the light of day. But if you would have reneged and went back to Atlanta or something like that, it would have been like, oh, we had a deal in place, and you know.
It would have been an outcry, but like I said, it's
a
lot of things that happens that players don't have the the power or the platform to really speak on.
The microphone.
They killed.
Remember,
they killed Boozer for that when he did that in Cleveland and ended up bouncing to Utah.
Yep.
But
so
it's like, let me get my money.
That's how the business is.
Yeah.
And like I said, as long as you understand it's a business, as a player, you understand the business side of it. You can really swallow a little bit easier.
So how hard was it going from, leaving the NBA and going overseas? You played in Greece and Italy, correct?
Yes, it was. Let me tell you something. I had the most fun playing in Greece ever. I played in a team called PAOK, P-A-O-K, and I played 1 year there, 1 year. But you would swear with the Greek people, I played my whole career there.
That's cool.
I played 1 year. They love their basketball, and I was interjecting to their culture, and I embraced what it was with Greek basketball. They were nuts. I mean, they're phenomenal, and they are out of their minds when it comes to their sports.
Wow.
You see, I've never been to a place where you look up in the stands and they're throwing flares back.
Yeah, I was about to say it's on fire. Yeah,
the opposing fans, they're catching the flare and throwing it back. I'm like, what in the world have I got myself into? But I'm gonna tell you something. The Greek fans were unbelievable. I mean, they are. It's a cross between NBA and college. They call them clubs.
That's right.
Whatever club you're born to, you are loyal to.
There's no deviating from
this guy over here, so I'm gonna be a fan of his. No, they hate the opponent's team. I don't care who you play, but they hate you. And it's to a point where it's a scary hate.
Yeah.
Where if you go into arena, because I played in the city with Roy Tarpley and Mitchell Anderson.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
And I used to always want to go see them play. And they said, Cliff, you can't go to a game. You can't go to a game. I'm like, why? He's American. I want to see him play. They said, no, the fans will go crazy. You go in there. They're gonna try to hurt you.
Wow.
I'm like, okay. I remember going to the first game. I'm watching the game, but I'm watching in the back tunnel.
Yeah.
I come out of the tunnel, all the whistles start. That's a boo. Boos or whistles. When you start hearing the whistles and all that stuff, something getting crazy going to happen.
Oh, no.
I'm standing in the tunnel. I mean, I got loogies and stuff poured at me and thrown at me. I had to go back into the tunnel.
Oh, my gosh.
But that didn't stop me. I went again. This time I had to get a little further out in the court. Because, I mean, I enjoyed watching my friends. They were friends. We're friends over there. By the fourth game, I'm sitting with their president in their box.
Oh, wow.
That was one of the unprecedented things.
Wow.
A player to go sit with the other opposing teams, president and everything. So it was, like I said, it went from a scary situation to a respect situation.
Wow.
When we played each other, they hated me, but they respected. I was a really good athlete over there, a really good ball player over there. And like I said, if you go and pull up anything from PAOK, you'll see basically embroidered in all of that. My Facebook fans, my Facebook fans, all my PAOK fans, I got mostly Greek PAOK fans on my Facebook page. I mean, it's ridiculous.
That's great.
I remember when I first set up my Instagram page, it was like, well, you have to have 1,000 followers before you can be verified. So, NBA said, well, we can verify you, but you gotta have 1,000 fans. So what I did was I linked my Greek fans on my Facebook. I had 1,000 fans in 3 hours.
That is amazing.
So, like I said, my Greek fans, fan club, love y'all, man. Love y'all.
That's awesome, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, Cliff, man, we definitely appreciate you getting on with us. And anytime you're in Vegas, man, we got to get you in the studio. I know there's a lot more we could talk about.
For sure.
Oh, without a doubt. I got a few more stories too. I'm gonna leave this cliffhanger for you.
Okay.
Who was the only player to foul into an NBA game?
Foul into an NBA game?
Look that up.
All right. We're gonna have to look that one up. All right, see. So good seeing you, Cliff. So good seeing you, brother.
Fellas, it's a pleasure. Quan, hey, it was a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, you too.
And Jay, hey, it's always good talking to you, bro.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right?
sir. Good talking to you, Cliff. You take care.
All right, we'll do.
Cliff Levingston, former bowl champion, broke my heart
Yes, sir.
against the Lakers.
Portland
I
Trailblazers.
wasn't super mad when they beat the Lakers because at that time, it's like, we want to see Jordan get one. You know, we all liked him. But if I knew he was going to get 5 more after that, I wouldn't have wished that on him at all. But that was one of those that didn't hurt, like losing to the Pistons and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because, like, yo, he's next. Like, cool. Jordan got one. So, second favorite team in the league. Like, okay, cool. It doesn't hurt as much as, like, an enemy getting it, Celtics, Pistons. So, it wasn't as bad. Plus, we had already won so many. I didn't mention it to Cliff, but James was hurt all series. I think he even might have missed the game or was just banged up really bad. Byron Scott. So, you know, we were an older team at the time, a lot of injuries, and it was the birth of Vlade. But great series. If you guys missed any of those old school games, make sure you go back and watch them because it was a different game. It was a different game. You know, everyone played hard. Everyone had their role. Now everybody wants to take a role.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference in the game right now. There's pros and cons to it, though. You know, there's a lot of stuff. Like you said, players are more talented. They're a lot more athletic now, so you get to watch that and see, like, the way they shoot. But the fundamentals, it's hard watching a lot of these teams. Some of them, when they're not thinking about contracts, and you could tell that most of the players aren't. That's why I like watching Memphis. It's a young team that feels like they're overachieving. And Ja Morant's just playing out of his mind. Like, it's easy to watch that. When you're watching the Lakers, and what are you doing as a coach? What are you doing as players to even be in this position? It's hard, you know?
Yeah.
Seeing Brooklyn. So let's talk about this real quick before we go.
Sure.
Kyrie was able to sit in the stands with no mask on Sunday. I think front row. Right there.
Very close.
Around other people, not vaccinated, but he can't play in the game. What do you think about this stupidity?
Make it make
sense.
And
then they got fined because he went in the locker room afterwards. So you could be around these strangers you're never sitting around, but you can't go in the back in the locker room and be around the teammates you were with 2 nights ago in another city. Make it make sense. And now even the Mets and Yankees, they have the same rule.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Buck Showalter.
Showalter. Is he the coach?
Of the Mets.
Manager? Oh, he is the manager of the Mets.
Of the Mets.
Now.
And so
right. Thank you.
They asked him about that, like, how do you feel? And he's older, and he said, I'm getting my 5th booster. So, you know, he's just taking them like crazy. I mean, but
5th booster. I got no more lines on my card.
Yeah. And baseball is back, by the way, folks.
It is back.
I don't know if I'm
very excited. Is it womp womp womp? That's the one you're looking for? Okay, all right. No, still nothing.
Baseball's back. I'm excited because it is, you know, there's not a
baseball
lot of
season.
sports happening, so you need something else on one of these TVs.
It's baseball season.
I mean, it's March Madness, so don't tell me it's baseball.
No,
season.
that's well. It's spring training. This is spring training time.
Oh, we need to do brackets. We'll put our brackets online because,
as we talked about with Cliff,
we got to guess.
Yeah, as we talked about with Cliff. What, on Thursday?
Yeah.
Oh, who we got on Thursday?
No, I'm saying we just.
Oh,
we starts Thursday morning.
We have to guess.
We got to do our
My
brackets.
bad. I thought you said we had a guest. I was like, we got a guest coming on Thursday. Who we got an insider who's coming on Thursday?
We have Dick Vitale.
Yeah.
Be on.
Hey,
everybody tune in.
Hey, that would be a great one.
Yes, it would.
That would be pretty good.
Get them while we can.
See, and then,
for real.
Then you had to
He's
go.
not getting younger.
You had to go and do that. But, I mean, yeah. Listen, it's March Madness this year. I have no idea about anybody. I'm telling you, the only person I even have an idea is pick Bryant because they got the high scoring white boy.
Yeah,
he's gonna take down the top seed. I just feel it. That's probably one, especially if it's an underdog. Like, take that, or at least take the points on that. Outside of that, I have literally no idea. I think I think Gonzaga probably loses. As much as people are picking them, I feel like they probably lose second round or Sweet 16.
Yeah, because everybody's picking them right now.
Yeah, I don't think they go deep.
And Rosalie Ogden on YouTube, who's my mother, she said Cliff was fouled into the game. And I knew it had to be him if he's asking the question.
Okay.
She had looked him up already. So
okay.
How do you get
fouled
into a game?
Maybe I have to read what that means. Like maybe we fouled out every so many people, and you had to come in the game.
To play, and
basically, you were forced in because there was no one else to play. Possibly, but that's interesting. All right, I'll have to text him about that one. That's pretty good. Thank you, Mama, for being our stat person today. But yeah, I mean, look, it's going to be an exciting time in terms of March Madness, of course. I'm really excited to see what the ladies do because, as you said, that's who we actually follow more right now. I'm interested to see if UConn can right the ship. You know what I mean? Like they don't have much more time with Paige and some of the players on that team. It's interesting to see if Gino, because this has been a little bit of a down year, to see if they can make a run, because that would actually be pretty exciting for me. So.
All right, so the Atlanta Hawks were playing the Utah Jazz. They were without Dominique and Antoine Carr already.
Okay.
So they didn't have a lot of players.
Okay.
John Concac, and we used to call him John Contract back in the day because he had a ridiculous contract. Got paid more than Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson at the time. He fouled out. And then they went to overtime. Kevin Willis fouls out with 3:36 to play in overtime. With 3:01 left in overtime, Scott Hastings fouled out. With 1:12 left in overtime, Spud Webb fouled out. 35 seconds left, Cliff Levingston fouled out. They only had 5 players, and 2 of them had 5 fouls. So basically, they only have 4 players. The last player to foul out had to come back in the game.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy. We've never seen anything like that before.
That's an interesting.
Wow.
I'm surprised nothing like that happened with COVID too.
Yeah.
With short
but back
benches.
then you only had 12. That's it. Now you have 15 on the bench.
But not everyone's dressed. It's still only 12.
But with COVID, you can bring a player in before the game and be like he could dress because of COVID.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
So you have a lot more options if people do get hurt because you only had 12-man rosters.
That's it.
So if 2 people can't play, you're down to 10 already. If 3 people can't play, you're down to 9, and then people start fouling out. That chips away quick.
100%.
Yeah.
He was calling fouls that game. My goodness.
Oh, yeah.
How many?
He said
he fouled out. He fouled out.
Yeah. That's a lot of foul outs. But going into overtime too,
Yeah.
But,
hands off Atlanta Hawks.
Man. A lot to talk about in the NFL, so we will get to that on Thursday afternoon. A lot of free agency happening, and we'll see a lot more signings.
I'm so pissed.
In the next couple of days. What are you most upset about?
I'm pissed that we didn't sign either Marcus Williams, the safety, or DJ Chark.
Now, how do you feel about Carson Wentz being your QB?
I don't love it. But at the same time, is it still an upgrade? Yes.
There's a chance of greatness, though, too, right? If he doesn't get hurt, he could still – he had a year where he was going to be MVP.
He was MVP, period.
And so there's that chance, even though you're hearing from the Indianapolis locker room that there was issues. He didn't talk to a lot of players. He wasn't, in the mix. But maybe it was just them and not him. I don't know. But there's that chance that – he could have a resurgence in his career.
He's had great success in our division. You know what I mean? He has a winning record against other NFC East teams. So that in itself already helps you. But we'll see. I personally was like, look, okay, good. We got Carson Wentz. Use him as a trade pawn. Go get Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Because now you have a quarterback where somebody's like, okay, we'll take this guy because okay, give us the picks and the guy. You can have Deshaun Watson. You end up resetting your roster.
I think Houston's more just give us a whole bunch of first rounds.
Yeah. I mean,
it's going to be hard. And just seeing, he's talking to Atlanta now.
Yeah. Panthers
and
Browns.
Saints.
Browns, they said too.
Okay.
Yeah, the Browns. They were saying because Baker only has 1 year
Yeah.
left on his deal. So,
Hmm.
yeah. So we'll see.
Browns, they let go of Jarvis
Landry.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I know he's been hurt a little bit, so
Older too. He's
Yeah.
he's pushing 30, so it's you know what I mean.
but I feel like receivers you could be older and be a receiver, but with the injury history, it's a little bit tougher. But I mean, 5-time Pro Bowler,
yeah,
you know, he's worth being somebody's third, third option
for sure.
back there. So we'll see what happens.
And they brought in Schwartz. They brought in Anthony Schwartz last year, who is a Madden god.
Yeah.
I don't know about real life, but I know the boy he's fast.
So we'll see. Baseball's back. NBA is in full effect. About 12 games left for most teams.
Yep.
10 to 12 games.
Hockey's almost done.
Kind of, because they're a little bit extended, I think, because they were supposed to have the
Olympic
break,
yeah.
and then that didn't necessarily happen, but then there was makeup games.
Yeah.
The hockey season's kind of been a mess. The trade deadline's not even till this week.
Yeah.
End of this week.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, yeah. You could trade a player right before the playoffs, but Knights are struggling, folks.
Yeah, a lot. They might not make the playoffs.
They've been out with like 9 players out.
I mean, you got Jack Eichel. What the heck happened?
He just got back though, and he's had a different line almost every game he's played.
Sheesh, like, bro, you guys
keeps going out. Stone's been out.
You guys got a squad. I don't want to hear these.
Everybody's hurt though.
My whole team's been hurt the whole season. Bro, I've had like 7 dudes off like from the front line.
Yeah, we have to. Look at the injury report.
We still
at the injury report.
Ovi's still top of the league.
Look at the injury report because he hasn't been going out.
He had COVID.
COVID, come on, stop.
He had COVID, and then
we all had COVID.
I don't know. But he's missed some games. He's missed a couple games, more than normal. He usually plays all 82. So
yeah, well,
we'll see.
Hopefully, he misses a little more next year and the year before.
That's horrible.
The year after.
Let him go break Gretzky's record. I've watched all the goals.
No thanks.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to watch.
No, don't break it. But yeah, NBA. So playoffs are coming up soon. March Madness. A lot going on in sports. It's a good time for sports. And spring training, I'm not sure when they're starting.
I don't know. I would assume like pretty much immediately.
You have to start soon.
Yeah,
but I mean,
you're
just now getting to the point where you could start signing free agents and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, so that's true. I don't know.
It's like you got to sign and then you're playing tomorrow, you know?
That's wild. Yeah,
so
we'll
see. I mean, I'm not sure the whole, I didn't look at everything. I just know they were back. I know there's some rule changes. There's a DH.
Universal DH. I don't like that.
Not in love with it.
I mean, it's what always makes.
So the players wanted that? Because that's a player union thing, right?
I would assume. You
don't want your pitcher.
Well,
hitting?
because it's essentially you're playing.
Do you have to use a DH or can you use a pitcher?
Those kind of things I don't know.
Like dude in Anaheim.
Well, no, Shohei can hit and he can pitch.
Yeah, but if he's the pitcher, do you have to use a DH when he's pitching that game?
No, he could also be the DH. You could work it that way.
Can you?
Yeah, I would assume.
I don't know if I've seen it. I gotta see. Like, do you have to have a position where he's the DH today?
No.
Can he be the pitcher and the DH? And then if he goes out as a pitcher, can he remain the DH?
I see what you're saying. That's true.
During the same game. So I don't know. We have to look into that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've seen pitchers DH before, but they weren't pitching.
Yeah.
So yeah, for him to be both, I don't know. That's fair. That's a fair question.
I don't know.
Anyways,
it's back, hockey, all that stuff. Tune in. And thanks for everybody that did tune in. And we will be clipping that up because there's some stuff that I don't know if anyone's heard.
We got some Jordan Gold in there for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And some, the whole Horace Grant, and it was actually Phil Jackson thing.
Yeah, that's all.
Which Phil would probably deny. But, yeah, Horace Grant had to defend himself after that. So, he was not happy.
Yeah, well, I mean, but other people on the dock were saying that it was him too. So I mean, I was just like, Horace lying. You know what I mean? But to hear Cliff say it wasn't Horace at all, it's like, oh, okay.
Because guess who probably spread the rumor that it was Horace?
That's crazy.
Probably Phil.
That's crazy.
Especially if he knew he was leaving.
Well, I mean, think about it too. This is Phil before Phil was writing books. So this is the same type of thing.
Right, has the books ready.
True, but this is the same. This is the same kind of thing that he did with the Lakers when he would write stuff about Kobe. and he was like, Kobe, he's the most selfish player I've ever had to coach, and all these things. Like, yeah, he definitely said some things that are a little bit unforgivable.
Crazy. Well, check out the replay if you can, folks, and we will be back on Thursday, hopefully, depending on Quan's schedule. I need some interns, guys.
We need something.
We need interns, for sure. That's definitely what we need.
See you guys later.
We're out. Go Knights, go.